Welcome back, everybody. I know I spoke about doing this on Wednesday, but I decided to just jump on today. It's Thursday. I have notes, so I want to be really prepared. And oh, by the way, if you're looking at this through YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. That would really help. That really would help me. I'm giving away this information up, freely because I just like to give people information instead of charging for this platform here. All I asking is that you give it a thumbs up. If it's an interesting video, would you just share it, and that would be great, and we can keep this didactic chatter monetarily free. All I'm asking is thumbs up, share with other people, and that would be a great help. This could be a place where we could just come and get information if you would like to and share. Like the title says, this is part two. Go to my LinkedIn channel. You can go to my website. My website is right here. Please check out the website. Also, join my website's blog or newsletter if you want to know exactly and get a heads up when we're going to go live. Because you also can join my YouTube channel, and that is let me make sure I get it right, the librarian, because you also can go there too. Now my YouTube channel is a little bit of everything educational. Some of it's a little fun. The librarian is my YouTube. Let me put that, I should have done it differently. Librarian. The librarian is my YouTube channel. So you go there too and check that out. But if you want to have a heads up, go to ultradidactic.com. That's my company's website, and join the newsletter. And it's also all of my streaming, all my videos are also there. But if you join the newsletter on my website, you automatically will get a heads up when we go live. But let's jump right into it. Okay, teachers, guess what? It's re-entry time. Most school systems around the country are now going through re-entry. Now, like I said before, we're talking about stress and the teachers. It seems as if the teachers have really been overlooked in the process. Some teachers are going through a lot of stress. Some teachers are suffering in silence. People who you normally wouldn't think would have having a problem, they're having a problem. First of all, we've already gone through the pandemic where they were kind of detached from family, friends, and colleagues. Because at my school, most of the schools I've worked at in the past, it was always considered as we are a family. Some people really take that seriously. And during the pandemic, these teachers have been cut off from their families. I'm talking about figuratively, mentally, and spiritually in a lot of ways. And sometimes, of course, we have Zoom, and you can. I adapt really well. I like working from home. My husband, he hates it. He's not even a teacher, but he hates it. He needs that socialization. So you have the teachers feeling detached. You have school boards not coming out there, going right up in, just coming out and saying, "Hey, school is open." Like I stated before in my last video, tell me, give me a thumbs up or in a comment. It could be during an old post or whatever. Have you not worked harder? I believe we have worked even harder as teachers and educators. So you have that. So then you have to look at, okay, well, school systems usually have a department for mental illness or mental health, and that's good. But it's strategically important that you let your school system, your building, feel important. That's when it comes to leadership. Who is going to be an advocate for the teachers? Georgia, for instance, is a right to work state, which means we have no union. So there is no union. We have organizations who try to spearhead things. We have teachers that are picketing. But really, is there anybody really looking out for the teacher or being an advocate for the teacher? And well, the teachers are going to have to be an advocate for themselves, and they're building leadership. One thing you can do is building leadership is allow teachers to feel like they're a part of the re-entry process. Talk to them as much as you can, because as leadership, I understand you can't get everybody's opinion, because you're going to get 100, you got 100 teachers, you're going to have 100 different opinions. So you're going to have to make those hard decisions, but at least let teachers give you their insight. Let them know. I understand. I mean, 1 minute we're out, 1 minute we're in. Next minute we're hybrid. Now we're gonna go full in. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do this. So teachers can get frustrated, and it's up to the building level administration to make them feel like, hey, I'm here for you. And even if you're not that kind of touchy-feely person, and you have an AP or an assistant principal who is, this is a time where leadership, you may want to say, hey, I'm concerned, but I am just not that touchy-feely person. This is what I want to relay to the teachers. Could you do that for me? Be the front person, and I will be the one that will make sure it's navigated through. It follow. I will follow through and make sure things follow through, and we work together that way. Because right now, even though you might not think so, teachers need a little soft touch. What I mean by soft touch, you're going to have to do a little more servant leadership. You're going to have to do a little more humanistic leadership, because you'll be surprised how the teachers feel very much detached. I mean, I'm talking from experience. I'm telling you what teachers are telling me. They feel like, hey, I wonder sometime, am I working for a Fortune 500 company and the CEO is the superintendent, who it became the superintendent through a birthright, so they automatically gained this company, because I'm not feeling like they really care about me as a teacher. And some people feel like leadership, have they ever been teachers? Because it seems like they don't quite understand what we're going through in these classrooms and such like this. Many principals are jumping in, and that's where it's going to have to be done. It's going to be the grassroots. It would be great if up, above us would, but I think I know they got too much, and it's too political almost. But as a building level coordinator, principal, you can really make a difference with your people. Make them feel like they're a part of this reentry. Make them feel like I understand what you're going through. It just would really help keep teachers going, because you don't want to lose good teachers. Because during this time, you can really lose good teachers, especially those who feel like, hey, they really don't care. So that is one way you can make your teachers feel like, hey, we're in this together. Let's work at it. What are some of your concerns? First thing out the chute, you should want to do that, because everyone is going through stress, but for now, it's just even more so. So if you see me, like I said, looking down, I want to make sure I get everything in here, because today is more about the research and ways you can help your teachers. Okay. Okay. Most of the time, we have someone to talk to, but during this time, you don't have many people who you can talk to. And that's why it's important that I believe, and I know, the first thing you should do when you get back in, when you're talking about professional development, right now, all we're dealing with right now is trying to get those kids back in. We're coming with those lunch schedules, such and such, trying to get how we're going to have the A, B, or B cohorts, how the kids are going to come in, how is hybrid going to look like, how we're going to keep the kids 6 feet apart. All of that is just got teachers going around in a circle. So after we get this done, the very first thing you should do, more than likely, especially since we only got maybe 2.5 months left in school, be prepared. Your first professional development coming back next year should be for the teachers, speaking about stress, recovery from the pandemic. How can we reconnect relationships? And I mean, not with the parents and the students. How can you, as a principal, a leader, reconnect with your staff? And you do this by asking them questions, asking them, how do they feel? Asking them, how can I help you? Asking them, do you feel safe now that we're back? Do you feel like we can move on from this? You don't want to break relationships, because as we know, educators, we want to have a relationship with our parents. We want to have a relationship with our students. Well, School systems want to need to have a relationship with their teachers and make them feel important. And so that is it's very important. It's imperative that school systems, if you don't want me to come do it, you need to have someone come in and give these teachers coaching or counseling, consulting, whatever you want to call it. But that first professional development out the chute, if you can, should bring all those teachers together. Have someone come and talk to them, i.e. me or someone else, to talk about, hey, how are you doing? What do you expect out of the school year? How can we help you? What do you need mentally? Not computerized technology or books or this. What do you need holistically? And I'm not talking about a yoga room, but what do you need to help you move on from where we have come from into the new school year? Okay, I want to take a break here because now I want to talk about the theory and the research that my colleague has done on load. Dr. Gilliard, my partner, she has done extensive research on McCluskey's load and power ratio. Load and power ratio, and the load, of course, is the load of the stress. And what she does is she has a margin life scale. And this is what we use in all of our consulting. If we're talking about behavior with the students, we still want to do this with the teachers. We want to do that margin load ratio, because when you talk about behavior, that's stress for teachers too. When you're just talking about, now, we do a margin load ratio scale, and it's used to assess the strength and the weakness of a potential teacher, and how we can modify activities by their answers from this scale that we use. Which she's right now is patent pending. We're using this scale that she created to find out exactly what a teacher needs or what a school needs when talking about stress after the pandemic. It's very important to find out first what are the problems, what do you feel, what do you think we need to be doing as a school to move forward. And this is something you want to do as a school base, because as I said, a school is a community. School is almost like a family. Sometimes it really is a family. So you want to learn, not just the teachers need to take this scale, but also all staff members, because you really want to know what you're working with. And once we find out what their load is, what that issue that they're having, then we can modify their activities, teachers, to help them relieve the stress. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, was that margin load. I mean, we've had great success with this, because there is no cookie cutter to anything. That's the great thing about our consulting firm. Everything we do, we don't go in and say, oh, we want to give you this behavioral management seminar or behavior management training, or we want to talk about stress relief with teachers. We're just not going to just start here it is packaged up already. Everybody's different. That's why I love this personal touch with Dr. Gilliard's margin load ratio assessment. It's really good and very helpful. And yes, and it gives, like I said before, you want to have that personal touch as much as you can with your teachers. Because it's very important that we understand what they're going through as teachers, and we want to help them. And the only way we're going to do this is by understanding that things are never going to be the same, but we're at a point now we can help mend bridges, because I'm all about that. I believe in building a bridge and getting over it. And the only way we can get over it is we build that bridge. And you could do this in a lot of different ways. Team building, but it's got to be more than just the superficial. Not that we're going to go deep, lay on the couch, psychiatrist therapy, but you want to do something that makes the teachers feel like, hey, I'm concerned, I'm here, I want to help you do your job better. Because if you think you were stressed over the pandemic, just think of this for a moment. You have all these kids that were out since March 2020. It's March 2021. Do you think they're going to come in, the students, ready to go? They're going to act as if they've never seen a school in their life. Add that on to the pressures of a teacher feeling like, oh my God, you got to stay 6 feet apart. Don't touch me. How do you, please touch me. It's okay to touch me. Stay away from her. Don't touch her. How is all that going around in the teacher's head? And you want to first just reassure your teachers. Reassure them that we're here to help you. And you may even want to say, like during faculty meetings and such, like I work with principals and they're really good at this. You make people feel like, okay, your question is important, but it might be a little sensitive, or it might be something that you just don't want to open the can of worms right there in front of everyone else. And you might want to open up to them and say, hey, after the meeting, I truly think what you're saying is important, and we could talk offline, just you and me. And say it like that and mean it. And I want also, now I know I'm shifting around, but I want to get everything in this little capsule of information here. And it's also important to never feel like, well, I'm just not, like I said before, I'm just not that soft and cuddly. I'm pretty much straightforward. Or you might feel, well, I work with high school teachers, and high school teachers are not like elementary school teachers. Teachers are human. All teachers are human. You gauge your staff, but you'll be surprised. Teachers are teachers. Oh yeah, just because a high school teacher doesn't celebrate Read Across America the way an elementary school teacher does, doesn't mean they're not stressed the same way an elementary school teacher is. So you have to take in consideration as an administrator, never take anything for granted or feel like, oh, this is not, my staff seems to have it. Open it up to them. Hey, if you do want to talk, if you just give them office hours, like back in college, hey, if you want to talk to me from this point, from this time to that time on this day, teachers, I'm open for it. We could talk about your issues and things such as that. So you want to do that. And don't, like I said, never feel like, oh, well, I'm just not that soft and cuddly person. You don't have to be. And I don't want you to be phony either. Please do not be phony. And this is also, educators, it's not about being soft on rules and regulations. It's about knowing how just to talk to people. And that's one thing I'm really good. If you want one-on-one help with that, if you know I got to do this, this is the way it's got to be done. For instance, right now, people got to come back to school. All right, you got to come back. But they still may have those fears and this and whatever, and you're like, I don't have time for that. I need y'all to come back. The school board says time to come back. Put your game face on. Let's go. Well, if you're that person and that's the way you are, and you don't know how to be it any other way, and that's good, you may need help on how could I reword that, or how can I approach it better so it won't feel so insensitive. And that's the bottom line. We want to be sensitive to everybody and not take anyone for granted, or not take the situation for granted that, oh, my teachers got this, or I'm high school, or I'm middle school, or whatever, or elementary, or if you're elementary, they might feel like, well, they're already in touch with their soft side. They're understanding. They're elementary school teachers. They know how to deal with feelings. Don't take what someone else is feeling for granted. And I think that's being lost. It was lost from the jump when everybody was saying that school was out. School wasn't out. School was not out. They were worried about, oh, the kids got to get back because they're going to be slipping in the test. The scores are going to be slipping, and they're going to lose what they've learned already, lose what they've learned last year, lose during testing. And now a lot of the benchmark testing have been done for the springtime. And many school systems are seeing that it wasn't much loss. Like I said, it wasn't much loss. It wasn't, because school was getting done. Sometimes, in some cases, even more so. I know for a fact, I've never dealt with parents or teachers on the weekend the way I've done during the pandemic, because it was needed. Teachers did what they needed to do, and that's not being brought up to the forefront. No, it's just not. It's not, and we don't need it from other people. We need it from our administrators. We need our administrators to let our parents know, hey, thank you. Y'all did a great job. Y'all are parent teachers while we're out. But I want you to know, these teachers really was behind the scenes making this happen. You know what? We were there for you. And I think everyone needs to know that if you're an educator. Staff, if you're a staff member, parapros, the custodians, we all work together to make this thing happen, and it must be related. And some school systems, you're going to lose good people because you're not coming across as very caring or being an advocate for your teachers. Now that is over with. Let's move on, because we re-entry now. Most of us going re-entry. Like I said before, we got to start now rebuilding our communication and rebuilding our relationship with our teachers. Teachers, we need to reconnect with our administrators. And then our administrators beyond our bill administrators, we need to reconnect. And as I said before, the first thing that should be done is, if you're going to do any professional development beyond training about any more of these different little wonderful educational programs we may have to do, you need to have something that's going to address teachers. Basically, hey, how you feeling? Like I said, what we have here, this our scale, wonderful scale. If you don't want to use us, there's other people out there. Talk to your school systems. There is so much help out there to rebuild what has been. It's been kind of damaged. It really has. And to say that it hasn't, you're in denial, because school systems are going to lose a lot of good teachers. And to say, oh well, we got 1,000, we got 500, we got 100 student teachers behind them. That's right, there's student teachers coming out of college, and you're going to lose good teachers with experience, proven experience. My sister right now, she's on the brink of wanting to retire, and she's still young. And this woman can teach a rock to read, and she has proven it year after year. Give her the worst, from first grade to fifth grade. They're reading. They reaching benchmark. Do you really want to lose a teacher like that and say, well, hey, there's 100 behind you? Yeah. And out of that 100, you might find 2 like my sister that you done lost. Do you want to do that? That's why it's very important right now. You want to keep the good you have. And I'm not saying be easy, because if they say we need to come in and you got to come in, the teachers, it's going to have to make some decisions. But even with that, just ask them, tell me, what can I do to help you with this decision? Why don't you want to come back? Well, we had a survey with the principal I work with, my principal. He sent out a survey about what you want to do, how you want to do things in class, such and such and such. And he had a caveat added to a question. If you said, yeah, I don't want to do it, I'll do it, maybe. And he doing it, if it's a maybe, what would make it a yes? What would make you say yes? What would turn your maybe into a yes? And I thought that was a wonderful question. If a teacher asks you ask a teacher to do something, you're asking your teacher to do something, they say, well, I really don't feel comfortable doing that. Or maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I'm talking about work with a bunch of kids, filling in, whatever the case may be. What would turn that maybe into a yes? And I love the way that question was. And I think that question was presented. And I think that's something that we all need to look at. When you have our teachers or feeling that you can see how they feel. You can look in their eyes, some of them. And we do a Zoom for the most part. You can still see them. You can hear them. They're not being coy. They're talking to you about what they need. So just think about that. If you're not that type of person, well, let your AP be your spokesperson to relay what you need, or try that that caveat I just said, when you asking teachers about what they want done and this or that, they're coming off like, well, hey, what will turn your or maybe into yes, I want to do it. You want to actually you want to present things to your teachers that way also. And then lastly, you want to make sure you have a safety net per se for your teachers that, hey, I'm thinking about you. We're working on some things for you. Do that professional development at the beginning of the school year. I would do it then. Right now, just get through this. But while we're getting through this, you can be doing some of these different strategies to make your teachers feel like, hey, we got you. And please do not overlook those people that really worked with you this year. And if you do see some people who you really felt, hey, you're just, I don't mean, like my dad would say, my dad's an ex-military man, retired from Army, and he would always tell us some people have perfected their sham. And some teachers and administrators or whatever, you might find that, you know what, some of these teachers have just perfected their sham. You need to call that out. That's what you need to call out, because you have those teachers who have been steadfast looking, and you treating everybody in the same boat, and this person really haven't done anything since last March. And your teachers know it. So if you want to be laser focused or hard nosed in a sense with that person, because that person may be going through things too, but we know you got those, like our dad say, you done perfected your sham. You really want to pull those problems out the root also, because you have your other staff. Like I said, you don't want to lose people. This is a time where people really feeling like, wow, I'm just out here. I'm trying to do the best I can, and it's not enough. And then over here, he got sued. They ain't done nothing since March, and it's like she's just getting paid to do nothing. And I see her out roundabout doing whatever she wants. And I'm here stuck at the computer trying to do the best I can or doing what I can for my kids. And it's like we're all in the same lump. I know it's a lot, the administrators, but we got to be able to be a little more holistic. So I'm not going to stay on much longer. Like I said, please give us a thumbs up if you're on my YouTube channel, The Librarian. Ultra Didactic is my business webpage. If you join my blog and my newsletter on my webpage, you go to the webpage and join, you will get a heads up, because I would love to be more interactive with you. Like today, I just jumped on. But this is going to be, hosted on my YouTube channel. I'll put it on Facebook and such. But really, it's so important to administrators and teachers. Be aware of your stress levels, understand your stress levels, know when you must kind of step away. Administrators, you're people too. And we're worried about you also. But the same things I'm talking about with the teachers, I'm talking about administrators, principals. They all need the time to rebuild that communication and that personal bridge so that we can all get over this together. So I'm Dr. McCullough. If you need any help, please reach out. Contact me on Ultra Didactic is also my LinkedIn, and connect on my webpage and my YouTube channel. If you need any information on professional development for your teachers, on stress management or behavior management, that's a whole different thing, because they coming and they're going to act like new fruit. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have a question or you need help or something one-on-one. I'm a librarian. That's my first love, my foundation. I'm here to help first and foremost. This is what I love to do. I want to help you. And being a librarian, I'm not just talking cock and bull. I do research, and I also, anything I talk about, anything I endorse, it's because I've done it. I've been through it. You're looking at 23 years. So please feel free, reach out. And like I said, next time, I'm hoping that I'll have some of this, I will get the word out sooner, so we'll have more live. And if there's anything you want to talk about on our little Didactic Chatters live, just let me know. So until next time, Thank you so much for coming. Goodbye. Farewell. Au revoir. Thank you.